Two masked figures slip through the outer gates at Windsor under a black October sky. A patrol light sweeps and moves on. Inside Adelaide Cottage, three royal children sleep at the foot of their parents' staircase. By morning, farm vehicles are missing, and months later, the investigation is filed away with 4 cold words, pending further information. Tonight, we unpack the night the perimeter bent, the update no one wanted, and what it really means for the future king's young family. Hello dear viewers, and welcome back. If you value calm, thorough royal reporting without the noise, do tap like and subscribe, it helps more than you know. Start with the picture that matters. Adelaide Cottage isn't a fortress, it's a family house with a postcard face, pale brick, quiet chimneys, and a garden that drinks the morning light. It sits within the wider Windsor estate, a place we imagine as unbreachable, cameras in the trees, radios on every lapel, black gates that look like iron laws. And yet, late last year, 2 masked intruders made it through an outer entrance and onto royal ground. Not a rumor. Not a prank. A breach? The timing made it worse. Wilyame and Catherine were home. George, Charlotte, and Louis were asleep. The intruders didn't smash their way into a drawing room, they didn't try a door. They took what opportunists often take on big properties, utility vehicles, and vanished back through the dark. On paper, that looks minor. In reality, it is the kind of proximity that puts cold in a parent's bones. Not what was taken, but how close they came. From the first hours, Thames Valley Police did what they always do on high-sensitivity cases: sealed, swept, traced. Plate recognition along approach roads. Gate logs. Maintenance crews questioned. Footage reviewed frame by frame. Country estates are full of blind corners, tree lines, service tracks, old gates that look ornamental until someone with a bolt cutter remembers how useful ornamental can be. Even with the best planning, perimeter rings are living things. They flex where woodland meets walls. And then came the update that landed like a thud. After months of work across a number of lines of inquiry, detectives filed the case pending new information. No arrests. No suspects named. No fresh leads. A sentence every police force knows by heart, and one you rarely expect to hear about a breach on the Crown's doorstep. For families watching from ordinary streets, that's the part that rankles. If Windsor can't produce a clean conclusion, what chance does anyone else have when their shed doors splinter, or their van vanishes at 3 a.m.? The answer is unglamorous and true. Modern policing is a tide of volume crime, and rural thefts are nimble and fast. You can be very good at your job, and still see a case go to ground. What makes this different is who sleeps behind those hedges. It isn't the first time Britain has learned the hard way that famous walls don't equal perfect safety. Older viewers remember 1982, when a man wandered into the late Queen's bedroom at Buckingham Palace. Out of that humiliation came hard lessons: layered rings, faster comms, more sensors, less assumption. Every era adds its own fixes. And still, years later, you get a night like this, when 2 masked shapes slip through a hinge in the system and remind everyone that vigilance is a verb, not a boast. The human piece matters most. Picture the aftermath inside a house like Adelaide Cottage. Quiet conversations at a kitchen table about whether to tell the children anything at all. Security chiefs explaining what will change. Patrol cadence, illumination at the tree line, the status of an old gate that suddenly isn't old at all. Catherine's instinct is always steadiness: reassure the small hands first. William's is practical: what do we fix and how quickly? Neither of those instincts requires a press release. They require a plan. You've also heard about a move on the horizon: Forest Lodge, within the same wider grounds. More space, more trees, more privacy. Moves like that are never only about a nicer nursery or a sunnier kitchen. They are about controllable approaches, sightlines you can own, and the comfort of knowing the evening dog walker you glimpse from an upstairs window is your own. Irony isn't the right word when you talk about a breach, but the contrast is clear. While one home is being gently traded for another, the land between them has shown its soft spots. Some will shrug and say, no one was hurt. A few vehicles are insured. The system worked because the house itself remained untouched. That is the wrong test. The standard around a future king is not no harm done. It is no proximity allowed. The point of outer rings is not public relations, it is distance. Distance buys time, time buys options, options keep families safe. There is another layer here, optics and trust. The monarchy's covenant with the public is steadiness. You do not expect weekly bulletins on security, you do expect quiet competence and the occasional, honest sentence when something goes wrong. Filed pending further information is honest, it is also unsatisfying. The palace won't, and shouldn't, fill that gap with detail. You don't announce where you've reinforced a fence post, how many new cameras cover a service road, or which patrol grid was doubled on Friday nights. You accept the size and do the work. What does doing the work look like without revealing a blueprint? It's dull, layered discipline. It's replacing a beautiful stretch of hedge with something less lovely and more honest. It's making sure a contractor's pass expires when the project does. It's teaching technology to notice what a board guard might overlook at 3:14 a.m., a heat signature where no heat should be, a vehicle where only hooves belong. It's meeting with the estate's farming staff and saying, as kindly as possible, that convenience, an unlocked outbuilding, a gate left ajar at dusk, competes with safety now. If you worry this all sounds joyless, remember who we're talking about. Wilyame once flew night shifts as an air ambulance pilot. He knows the arithmetic of response times. Catherine believes in childhood as a protected space, not a public stage. She will trade a pretty footpath for a safer boundary without blinking. None of this turns a family into prisoners. It turns habit into armor. There is also the wider bit, what the country sees. Critics love to paint the Waleses as distant when they keep their children out of view. Nights like that October night explain why the curtain stays where it is. A private school run made public equals a predictable route. Predictable routes are calendars for the wrong people. If you want more informal moments, you have to accept that most of them will happen behind a gate you never get to see. That's the bargain a modern monarchy offers. Show up where it helps, stay unseen where it keeps children safe. What about the police decision itself, this shelving? It isn't indifference. It's triage. Filing doesn't mean forgetting. It means waiting for the fragment that turns lights back on. A brag in a pub. A part sold to the wrong buyer. A vehicle dumped where a dog walker finally notices it isn't mud on the Wilyame cold cases thaw every day on far thinner ice than this. And out near Windsor, people talk. Time is not only an enemy, it is a sieve. Meanwhile, life moves. You will still see the Prince and Princess of Wales at the school gate, on the touchline, in a village hall where the tea is strong and the biscuits are the good kind. You will see them at a state welcome, measuring a courtyard step with a precision you don't notice, because they make it look like air. And you will not see 10,000 small adjustments, designed to make a repeat of that October night less likely. That's how it should be. If you're asking what all this means for the crown, the answer is simpler than the headlines. Institutions break when they ignore their near misses. They endure when they learn from them. This family has been doing the second kind of learning since long before any of us were here to draft opinions about it. It won't turn Wilyame paranoid or make Catherine brittle. It will make the next masked pair think twice about a gate that used to be friendly to the dark. A final thought for the parents in the audience, most of you. You know the feeling of checking a back door twice after a story on the local news. Multiply it by 1,000 cameras you didn't ask for, and a title you didn't apply for, and you have the Wales's version of ordinary vigilance. Their children still laugh in the garden. A football still goes too far into the shrubs. A dog still comes home damp and pleased with itself. That is the victory you don't read about. We'll keep listening for the new line on this case, the scrap of detail that brings detectives back to their desks. Until then, the lesson is enough: even at Windsor, the work never ends. If you found this helpful and want more sober, sourced reporting on the royals, do give this a thumbs up and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, should the palace say more when a case is filed like this? Or is silence the wiser safety? Your thoughts make this community smarter.